No sound detected. Let's see if we can fix that real quick. I think we're good. Test, sibilance. We are live. I got to get a little bit of music going here. Otherwise, I'm going to go fucking crazy. And I'm cussing right off the bat. That's not good either. Here's music. Let's head on back over to our library and let's find some of that good old royalty-free music. Let me know if that gets a little bit too loud. There we go. Looking pretty good. We're watching the good old Bitcoin here, plus lots of other things. I find this Zcash sell-off quite interesting as well. It's kind of going in the face of market sentiment. But we're going to go through some things here in just a moment. Just doing a quick check. And make sure the lives are going okay here. So let's just take a peek. There we go. I think we're looking good on the good old TikTok. YouTube is looking good as well. And let me just go ahead and throw it up in Discord here that we are live. What's up? What's up? What's up? There's the TikTok thing. Firewall Danny Spook. What's going on, man? We're watching Bitcoin here. See if we can't get up and over. We are in a long currently of the daily weekly sweep in the reclaim. It was a little scary, but I can't seem to click share. What we're hoping here is we get that support resistance flip on that 4-hour chart. We'll go over here to that in just 1 second. Trying to get a snip here of the play. Stop loss will be moved into profit here shortly if we do not get over this. We're going to make sure we make a little bit of something today. But that's where we're at right now. And climbing, we are hoping for this bull flag to break resistance and get up and over. But this is a 5-minute bull flag. Looking to see if we can't make something happen. I got one more thing to check here in Discord. Let's get rid of that. We are still live here. What up, what up, what up? What's up, Noah? All right, so let's go ahead and zoom out here. We're going to cover Bitcoin first. You know, what I like on the charts here today, we have this grab, right? This grab into this low, but this low is the 4-hour shift of structure. This is getting all the late longs out of the market, potentially, and pushing us higher. We've had some nice pump, a little bit of retracement, but let's just take a look and see where this retracement came today. So if we just take our expression from the downside to the upside, and what do you know? It's quite literally where we like to see these retracements head, and that is the golden pocket. Coming back in for all those late longs in the market and getting rid of them, right? If you long the top here, and you set a stop loss at the low, you're out. Otherwise, you gave back the entire play hoping it bounces, right? So, you know, this is one of those things where we hope this is the level that holds and pushes us to the upside. So I'm watching this bull flag, right? This is a higher time frame bull flag that's starting to form. It's tight, right? I don't even think we need this one. Actually, let's bring that back. I had this here, right? That trend. So this flag could look a little bit something like this, right? We get a bounce up, If we start clawing this stuff back, we need to create a new trend out, right? We need to create some kind of liquidity curve to the upside here without breaking it again to get it up and over. But the flag I'm watching is here, right? So I'm watching this, right? I'm watching this pull, this extrapolation, and this push up into higher, right? I'm looking to retest this 98K level, and it's very important. Probably the most important level on the chart. If we zoom out to the daily here, I can explain why. So on the daily chart here, what's up, El Turkey? I'm gonna try to crop this in a little bit, but this 98K level is the SR flip of the loss of that daily weekly range above us. So a bearish retest of this or a bullish continuation through this is where we want to be on the charts at the end of the day to make the next key decision for trading in our portfolios here, right? So coming back up, we had a bounce off 98K, a bounce off 98K, and then we lost 98K. But it was the break of structure on the daily and the weekly here that gave us the break up and over all the way back in May of 2025. So at this point, this is almost 7 months in the past, right? So flipping this zone again or coming up to bearishly retest this zone to trap the bulls for lower is going to be a key area. And it's one of the areas that we need to hold if we get back up there. We do not want to give it back. But this could be the area that, allows all coins to run just a little bit longer if they're going to continue to run, or we just never get up and over locally and it just kind of fades, right? We don't want it to fade, but at the end of the day here, we don't necessarily control that, right? Global. Let's get that out of there. Oh, that's interesting that we can draw those globally now. I wonder how that's going to change my settings. If anybody's got any questions, comments, wants to see a ticker, a symbol, a equity, a stock, a commodity, a crypto, certainly let me know. But this 1 hour bull div is really what I want to see flourish here, right? So if we just take a look at our oscillators here at the 1 hour chart, I use just a simple stochastic. It's nothing fancy. I don't overcomplicate things. I keep it simple. You don't need thousands of dollars in indicators to trade or trade successfully for that matter. But here it is, right? So here we are making lower lows on the hour chart. And here we are making higher highs on the 1 hour stochastic. So that means as we sell off, there is absorption in the market and we're potentially looking to push a little higher. It is also showing on the 2 hour chart, is also kind of showing on the 3 hour chart, but the 4 hour chart is really just oversold down here. It's smoked, right? So just a bit of a relief on the 4 hour. Potentially that's the danger, right? So the 4 hour chart could be something that just comes up higher, makes a lower high, and then continues to the downside, and potentially we visit that 87K, that next weekly low. But we're currently holding the weekly and the daily low of this current week, and that's good news. So we check back in locally here. What we're hoping for is this little bit of cup and handle formation to form for us. Not necessarily a great looking one. This would be more of a bump and run off a low. But the extrapolation of this range could get us a lot higher, right? And the key resistance is the one we would break over. So getting up and over this back up into the AM session yesterday of New York would clear the way to just keep clawing back that liquidity to the upside. And we just check the depth on the order books here. This is the wrong one. It doesn't necessarily agree with us. Order depth looks to be a little lower unless we flip it right here on this hour chart. Let's give it a refresh and make sure we're looking at this right. Yeah. Yeah, order depth actually looks lower. So we're flying in the face of order depth here. Let's look if liquidity is going to tell us a little bit more of the story. So I'm looking at mob charts right now. This is absolutely free. It's just mobchart.com. There's lots of free services here. Obviously, there's a bit of paid as well. Sorry, we're still nursing our coffee. But up here at that 91.5, we still got about 20 million. I can't read that. The text is really small. It looks about, oh, I'm sorry, that was about 10 million in orders sitting here. And I think that's probably going to be one of the key areas to get over. Let's just kind of zoom out here in mob charts. Getting a good push. If we break this liquidity curve, I'm looking for the run, man. I mean, this is how simple trading can be one day. Get over and keep going. Look at the higher end of the book here sitting. You got 51 million and 60 million. So you got about 120 million sitting up here at about 94K. And that could be the larger 94. So let's zoom out here and just take a look on the hour chart on how this pattern could form up. Yeah, I mean, so we have this localized one that's breaking out right now, right? So we could actually make this quite a bit bigger up into that liquidity area at 94K. Something like this. So that's sell to buy. We get back up into that 94K liquidity zone. We make that short consolidation, and then we get up and over. So it's going to look a little something like this, right? So we get up here, we consolidate a little bit. And I want to pull one more of these here. Just how we want this to kind of look. Sorry, I'm not paying attention to what you can see on screen. All right, we get a little bit of this. And then we just break it out, right? We got to do this the other way. And it just goes. Right, so we bust it. And that's how we get the leg up to about 98K on Bitcoin. But we got to start the move, right? We got to start it somewhere here. And locally is going to be where we start that move. We're getting a nice push now. Hopefully this holds. And we can get that continuation moving to the upside. Yesterday we were reviewing a bit of the Q. Not sure where we had this mocked up. It was right here. So we had somebody in chat that was looking for... they took a put at about 627. Hopefully they held that. As we just drove a little bit higher, they would be in massive profit right now. If you're here, man, shout out. Let me see if you're here. What's up, guys? What's up, guys? So the Qs here played out pretty nice for that short. It did just create that lower high after lower high into the full breakdown. So we did get that shift to structure almost exactly where I thought we would get it. And then we shifted one more time. And it was just off to the races. Bang, 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 bang. Looking for potentially a pump back into the gap fill here at about 623. So if you were still in those puts, I'd be closing those right about now. What's up, JJ? If you're over on the YouTube side, say hi. I see a couple of you guys sitting over there. We're going to go through a couple more things. What was the defense? Anybody tell me right off the top of their head what the defense ticker was that sold off today? Based on Trump's announcements of not being able to pay dividends? Was that the news? Was not paying dividends the news that hurt that? Jobs data did come out today. Yeah, not amazing. But it doesn't seem to have hurt much. If we just kind of take a look at what's actually dumping, commodities are dumping and stocks are just kind of either pumping or moving sideways. ES right now is slightly down. NQ is actually down a little bit more. But these are rejecting from all-time highs. So we just zoom out to yesterday. You know, this is what we were looking at. We were looking at a sweep of the all-time highs in the New York AM session, which we did get. Right? And we had the correction down back into the bottom of the zone. We actually didn't sweep it. So if we did hold this low, we knew the target into the pre-market, or excuse me, into power hour. was potentially to come back up and get this. But, you know, that pattern we're always looking for is that institutional head and shoulders pattern. But what does that mean? So this is the pattern, right? And then the continuation down. So you have an easy measure move like this from neckline to bottom. And look at that. We nailed it. Plus a little bit more. And now we're kind of getting that little bit of that reprieve. Kind of forming it again here, but hopefully we do not confirm this one, right? So this neckline, you know, where's this going to go? And then continue to the downside. Validation will be closing back above 658 or 69.58, excuse me. But this is, what is this? This is how you trap traders. This is how you trap. So we know for a fact that this key level right here is all-time highs. We just zoom out to the daily. Here it is on the all-time high, weekly high, daily high, monthly high, yearly high, previous year high, right? Very, very key level. These don't often get broke. This is where we set up traps for reversals. And as we were taking a look at this, is a textbook Model 1 trap, the head and shoulders pattern, right? What is it actually doing here? Well, price is pushing into a key level. Let's just draw it out and we'll explain it. So as price pushes into the key level of that weekly daily high, make sure I'm on my screen here. JJ, thanks for the follow. So saying we're pushing into the key level. This is our weekly high. Two things happen. A, breakout traders pile in, right? Pile in, pile in, pile in. They look for the back test as well to add their positions as long as the low is held. Price pushes higher as institutions start to onboard in the opposite direction, the contrarian trade. They trap traders from here piling in. They trap traders on the next break of structure piling in, and then they immediately come down and shift this structure. This is the key to this trap of the head and shoulders pattern. If they come back in and immediately break structure to the downside, right? As you can see right here, order flow is probably going to shift. So not only do they trap traders once long, they trap traders twice long, and then they don't end up closing their positions at a valid close. So we get a fake out push higher, unable to break the neckline of the trade, and then that's where the model actually comes in and executes flawlessly. You get this measured move right here. And this is where your trade comes in. So this is where the short position would hold the high and take out the low. So something like that is that head and shoulders pattern, that Model 1 pattern. Very, very ELF. Let me take a look at that here in just a second for you, Matt. But that's what happened yesterday on the Qs. That's what happened yesterday on ES. That is what happened yesterday on NQ. You can see this pattern everywhere. It's a reversal pattern. Now, if this was sitting upside down, the reversal pattern would be to the upside. Now we're upside down. Let's make sure we're in the upside down. Anybody Stranger Things fan? Let's take a look at ELF. ELF Beauty? I don't know anything about this. Which one is it, brother? ELF Beauty? Ooh, getting a pump. I don't know the news here. They don't have earnings till February. Last two were a hit, and the last three were a hit, and they were all surprise hits. Ooh, this thing is in a big sell-off into potentially a recovery here. So let's just take a look at weekly. So weekly could be getting us a divergence here. We'll check that in a second. Oversold on the weekly, not a bad area to buy when you start to see these weekly oscillators just completely fucking smoked, right? I don't know how to expect this to perform. I don't know much about the company, but that's Key weekly levels here are holding. Range low. So we have a clean cut here of about 68 bucks if you are already long, but let's head into the daily. So daily did put in a bullish divergence. This is very visible on the charts here. So here is your oscillator again. This is just a simple stock. So lows, higher lows, higher lows, higher lows, higher lows. This is classic divergence. Not hidden bullish, which is what I like to see, which is a leading indicator. But we do have a gap fill to the top here. So this gap fill is all the way up to 116.33 for the fill. So here's our CME fill. And that gives us a move currently of about 34%. Is there any kind of bullish? We can look at news here in a second. Does it give us the news option? It does not give us the news option. Does this work like... See, this doesn't have it. That's weird. ELF. Let's just check this one, make sure it's not broken somehow. It is broken. So let's look at news for ELF quick. ELF Beauty, you can't see this unfortunately, but ELF Beauty's gross margin poised to rebound in second half of 2026. ELF versus EL, which beauty stock is more lucrative now? ELF seen as the best position in the beauty market. ELF's pricing strategy offsetting tariffs. So they were struggling a little bit to do tariffs. So it looks like they may have a case to remain bullish here. Daily is not smoked. Plenty of room to the upside. Let's just see if we can find a structure shift on the daily here, what we need to follow. So that is going to be right here. All right, so if this closes today above 84 bucks, this will be a break of structure on the daily, and I may be looking for a key level for clawback. So here we have a beautiful demand zone. So if we get some kind of key reversal here and we come back in and look for the bounce off of this zone here, if you're not looking to top blast this, and let's just take a look if that lines up with any of our key Fibonacci levels. Oh, look at that, right in the golden pocket, right? So if news is bullish, this could just run the gap and quickly, right? I'm not someone who's going to top blast anything, so I'm not buying a daily breakout. I'm just not a breakout trader. I'm looking for either a pullback into a bullish area. This order block down here, institutional area of buys, could get filled up nicely into the golden pocket, and then we get that continuation. And if we get a little bit more of a sideways action, the extrapolation of that range could bring us back up into that gap fill pretty easily up into the hundreds. So looking pretty good for the upside. Let's just see if we got any kind of 4-hour break here before we call it on this one. Oop. It's tough to be mindful of these vertical formats. So very... Oops. What did I do here? Let's reset that. There we go. So if I'm looking at 4-hour, you can just see this on the side of my screen here. Here's market structure, right? Let's zoom this in a little bit. Maybe we'll go into 8 and see if it feels the same. It does. There, we can fit it all in. So here's the pullback. Here's the sweep of all the everybody pile in here. So here is where all the trap traders are at about 67 bucks. This is where the trap was set. 8-hour comes back in. It holds demand zone on local price action, and then it breaks structure on the 8-hour. So here is our key, right? 8-hour low. So I think even if it comes back down into this level, this is the low. So 73.80. We do not want to close an 8-hour candle below this. So this will give us, again, still room to come back in, tap wick into this, and then run it out the top, right? This could have been the only tap we get, but again, I'm not top blasting this. I'm looking for a pullback into consolidation, and then that continuation to the upside. So It did have a 4-hour shift of structure. It's looking to get that bullish daily shift. And if the weekly closes higher here, it'll be a weekly break of structure as well. If you got anything else, certainly let me know. I'm long and I'm cooked. What are you long, brother? What are you long, Remy? Let me know. Let's just go back into just Bitcoin here quick so I can just double check where we're at. Bitcoin's still chopping to the upside here. Still look okay. Still only a 5-minute structure shift. We're trying to break. This would be the 15 here, right over London. Right? So we did just sweep London. I'm not sure. I'm feeling a counter short here just off London because of the bullish price action. 0.828 stop loss. Maybe we give it a shot. Let's see here. We're over though. I think I'm just going to play the long. We're still in the long. We are long right now, NASDAQ. Let's just take a look at NQ. Let's look at New York Open here. So New York Open to a dump into the sweep of Asia, or excuse me, of London low. I got to back up a little bit and look at some other levels here. Give me 1 second. So previous daily low is a little lower, 25.3, or weekly low. Previous daily low. I mean, we just came back into this daily block. So we're bouncing off an NPOC to the upside. I don't think you're cooked quite yet, brother. So depending on where you're long at, new liquidity curve to the upside here. We did have a 5-minute break of structure, just super local here, right? So what do we do once we have that 5-minute break of structure? We're looking for the entry after we get that order flow shift. So right here is that confirmation of that order flow shift. In the invalidation of the change in state and delivery here is only going to be if we lose the low, right? So we're always looking for a retracement here, and that retracement is typically going to be into the golden pocket. And look at that, right? So we made that high in the 5-minute chart. The textbook entry here is going to be the golden pocket. So if my play was going to be a setup, it's going to look a lot like this for the long. We're going to hold the low. We're going to take that golden pocket entry, and we're going to target 3 to 1. So that's going to get us back up into this order block on the 5-minute chart to get that 3 to 1 entry. And this would be the play that I'm looking for to the upside, right? So the continuation play needs to break 25.712 to the upside for the continuation of the break structure. And we are about 50 minutes from lunch, 42 minutes from lunch. So this could be a little bit slower. So I'd be watching this. You know, if you want to cut a little early here, if you break this liquidity curve to the downside, or if you close a candle between or below a 5-minute candle below 25.619, I may be considering just cutting that. You have a key level lower here, so even if we came down into this 25.480 level, would be that weekly low. But I don't think this is a bad play. You got the shift, you got the back test. But that would have been the key entry right there. Down 1K. I don't know where I don't know if you top blasted it, brother. Where did you enter it? Up here? Or are you probably up here? So coming into New York, it swept London high and then hit the reversal. Right, that was the trap there. And the key to get out of this play was that break of structure in the 5-minute up here. And then it just murdered you. The issue across the board here with NQ, ES, you know, all these things is yesterday they wicked that weekly daily high. Right, so do they want to correct a little more? Maybe, maybe not. You know, I think there's a potential here for this to just continue to the upside, though. Even if we get a little bit longer accumulation, I think this is the low. You know, I'm always taking a 1% risk to reward on my portfolio. So if it comes down and knocks me out, I'm only losing 1%. That's how risk management works. If you're struggling at all with risk management, check us over out on tacticaledgetraders.com. There is free courses over here. Again, this is going to be tough to show on screen. Tacticaledgetraders.com, guys. There is free modules. If you sign up, you can hop over in Discord. We do trade live every single day. The boys are over in Discord trading right now, and girls. I shouldn't say just boys. Here's the live channel for New York. Ben's over there leading and cooking. I'm just doing a quick live right now, trying to get it in. But we're here every single day. There's tons and tons of free education in the free side. Psychology of money, trading view, SFPs, liquidity, all this stuff is over here in these modules. How to manage risk. You know, as a trader, you are a risk manager first. Appreciate the follow. At BE. This is Bloom Energy Group looking bullish right off the rip here. Sorry, I muted my mic there by accident with a hotkey. So beautiful curve is holding. We did create a gap to the downside here on the daily. $12 getting a good pump. Here's what I don't like right now is we are coming in and rejecting. We're getting an SFP off this 12-hour high, which is also going to be a daily high. So this SFP level, we need to close over 121 for continuation. Otherwise, we're putting in a lower high on the daily. This level is key. So if you're long from lower, I may consider a stop loss below, you know, one of these local 8-hour lows. Potentially below this order block here. This is the one you want to hold. But about $98, right? If we're taking some sort of measured move, I do like the cup and handle that's forming here on the charts. So potentially looking for sideways consolidation into something like this. But if we end up just giving this back, stop loss is probably going to be, again, below that low I just mentioned. So we're looking for something like this, right? So price action just kind of fill sideways, potentially into that fair value gap, and then we get that bust, and then we take all-time highs. I don't know anything about this company. That's kind of a quick overanalysis of that. And VST is the next one here. But again, just real quick on BE. If we cannot take this high and close above this, the target is the low that made it. So we would come down, potentially break this larger liquidity curve, and then we just start coming back, right? So if this is some sort of news pump, and then dumping consolidation sideways just to further dump down, I would be watching, you know, if you're in down here somewhere, I mean, there's a definite cut down here at $75, right? Next one is VST. Vistra. So Vistra is coming into, really nothing. Single print on the weekly. So straight up, straight down so far. I don't know if this, again, was a news-driven pump. SFP the high, and this could come all the way back down here to about $92. Let's see what it looks like locally. So we had a very, very, very small accumulation range here for an SR flip. So if we're coming back into stop out late longs, it's going to be from this area right here. Let's see what this looks like on the 4-hour chart. Again, not a very long consolidation. Just straight up. I don't like the way this looks. I am bearish on this until it flips some sort of key level. All right, so we got a nice liquidity curve here. You can set an alarm on. A high of 173 for the market structure shift on the 4-hour and the daily. And weekly low at about 92 bucks. So just this could just keep coming down. We've got oscillators pointing down on the 12-hour, the 8-hour, the 22-hour, and the daily. 1 hour is trying to fight a bullish divergence, hidden bullish divergence even. So oscillators are making, price action's making a lower high, oscillators making a higher high. So again, if you're looking for an intraday level to play, if we can break back above 156 to crack this hour high. So change in state delivery on the 1 hour chart here. This could move us to the upside. Where'd you take the L's at? What ticker? Tipsy. Just a quick reminder, if you're ever on TikTok, the links into Discord are in the link tree in the description. Hey guys, don't forget to hit that follow button. Unfortunately, it's going to be a little bit of a short stream today. I got to go upstairs and take a look at a couple other things, but I am not liking the way VST looks. BE looks a little bit more bullish to me, but it is SFPing a very key higher time frame level. Gotcha. I mean, just for reference, Remy, you don't want to hop into just a red candle because it's red for a long. You want it to come into a key level and bounce, right? Look for those trap traders. Look for those sweeps. All right, guys, that's going to wrap it up for me today. I appreciate you joining us. Unfortunately, about a 45-minute stream. I'm going to try to get on a little later today, but in the meantime... Nice. Yeah, that's probably what I would have looked at as well. But hop over in Discord. Discord.gg/tacticaledgetraders. Take a check at the website. Definitely follow here, guys. I appreciate each and every one of you for hanging out, and I'll catch you on the next one, okay?